Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Nerds Amalgamated. I'm the Professor and my co-hosts are DJ and Bucky. How are
Hey
you
guys.
going, Buck?
I'm
Shout out DJ.
marvelous.
Buck goes first tonight,
Oh.
so he can't whinge this week.
Don't you bet on it.
But
Yeah, I'm marvelous. Thanks for asking. And how are you going?
I too am marvelous.
That's fabulous.
What about you, DJ?
I'm good.
You broke the trend.
I was gonna say something, but then you broke it too.
What?
Let's just ignore him.
If you can understand that, please write in and tell us what he's talking about.
Right. So anyway, let's get the show started. Our first topic this week is from Buck regarding solar power and water.
It is. Oh, hang on. I got something popped up on my feed here. There's a prototype for a new floating solar power device that produces energy and cleans your water or filters your water at the same time. So the Japanese are probably like that because they have a lot of solar farms situated on top of water. So, yeah. And for other people that just want to have clean drinking water, yeah. But this is mounting a water distillation system on the back of a solar cell, and it allows you to double the unit as both an energy generator and a water purifier at the same time. So, yeah, it's 11% of incoming light being converted into electricity, which is comparable to commercial solar cells, which usually transform anywhere from 10 to 20% of the sunlight they soak up into usable energy. So, yeah. What do you guys reckon? You reckon you use one of these?
Yeah, I reckon there'd be a big market for off-grid, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Probably particularly African countries where they don't always have the best water or electricity supply. You can go and mount one of these on each house and solve both problems at once.
Mm-hmm. Interesting thing to note here is the author of the paper, Peng Wang, is that's their name, Peng Wang. Is an engineer at King Abdullah University of Science and Technology in Tuwal, Saudi Arabia. So, yeah, these guys are literally living in an area where this is going to be absolutely amazing.
I like that it shouldn't decrease the amount of electricity you get from the solar cell. And I imagine the solar panel would be interchangeable fairly easily if a new tech comes out.
You would expect so. At the moment, the devices they've been using, it's about a meter across and estimated to pump about 1.7 kilograms of clean water per hour.
Which, since we live in a civilized country, is 1.7.
Pardon?
Professor, you cut off.
I said, since we live in a civilized country where we use metric, that's 1.7 liters.
Kilograms are metric too.
Yeah, but as opposed to living in some backwards third world country where they don't use metric and having to convert from liters to gallons or hogsheads.
Hey, don't you go knocking hogsheads.
You wouldn't even know what a hogshead is, DJ. You can't.
No, but I just find that measurement funny. How people use hogsheads. Just reminds me of the currency one African country has, which is a salt block as a currency.
We still basically operate on a similar thing to that, which goes back to Roman times, where the Roman soldiers were paid in salt. So when you think about the fact that people are on salary,
yep,
that comes from the word. It's derived from the word salus.
But I will say this sort of tech, it just reminds me of what you said earlier, what you posted on our Facebook page once upon a time about a motorized version of distilling water at one point.
Okay.
But I'd like to see more of this tech coming out in the near future, though, because because with the whole climate change and everything, I think this is vital.
Yeah. the other, like, there's going to be like there's huge market for this sort of stuff, because you could probably also look at putting it. I don't know whether it's a desalination system as well as part of the purification, but if it does desalination, you could also have it on boats, and it could also be used as part of the critical response for groups such as the SES and the military when they respond to tsunamis and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But then the problem would be also the cost in terms of how much would a family have to afford to get this sort of tech up and
I
running.
don't think it's a lot more than what a solar panel would cost. The key thing seems to be the polystyrene membrane filter.
Mm-hmm.
It's a simple distillation concept, but so the sunlight hits the solar panel, heats it up, which heats up the water chamber, which evaporates, passes through the membrane, and condenses. So since it's polystyrene, I can't imagine it will cost too much to manufacture.
Well, because they're saying here, like, it filters out salt, but I'm not sure. Like, so it should be able to be a good desalination system for putting on boats as well. Cost effective, like a meter square unit is doing 1.7 kilograms of clean water per hour. That's, if you only have that operating for 5 hours a day, that's more than enough drinking water for a person.
Yeah, and I see a comment here for a good point though, asking how long the membrane would last in contact with saline, and also how hard it will be to clean out a membrane.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bit of a kink in the plan.
Well, I can't actually see the answer to it there.
No, you probably have to dig into the full paper.
Yeah.
Which we know you love to do.
Yes, I'm actually starting to do it now.
Okay.
Can you imagine Bear Grylls doing this thing as well, though? Like, he will make his own version of that type of machine?
Well, I don't know. Well, strangely enough, there is actually something similar, but it wasn't Bear Grylls, it was the Bush Tucker Man, who was Australia's version of Bear Grylls, probably taught Bear Grylls back in the day. He used a sheet of plastic and dug a hole in the sand near the beach and put a rock on top of the hole with a water bottle in the middle, and the salt water evaporated up and it dripped down, and he just had it dripping through a salt cloth, which captured all the salt out of the water. So he was getting fresh water that was filtered through the sand at the beach, and then the final salt was taken out of it at the very end. So, yeah. And you could also do that with fresh water near creeks and so forth.
Yeah, that's a classic distillation, basic survival distiller. They actually taught us how to make them in Scouts.
So that's an easy process one, that one. This is a constant process. I can't see anywhere here where they're saying about the lifespan of the filter, but yeah, I'm going to have to spend a lot more time reading this one through to truly appreciate it, I think.
We'll have to come back with that then. So our next topic this week is from the DJ. What have you got for us, DJ?
So, fresh off from the recent end of the season, Steven Universe has announced that they'll be releasing a movie, and from the trailer I've seen, it looks really cool. So it's basically saying Steven wants his happy ending. Destructive forces from space are threatening to annihilate all life on Earth. He and his friends suddenly find themselves having to save the planet again. That's the plot, basically. But yeah, it's going to be coming out soon, and Rebecca Sugar, the creator of it, says that this will talk everything from Bob Foss and inspiration to the LGBT community, teen crushes from the 90s, and even fanny packs. But yeah, it's Steven Universe, for those who don't know what the show's all about. It's basically about a kid who lives with three beings known as the Crystal Gems, and they're all from this planet called Homeworld. And the story and it's 5 seasons worth of story about how Steven tries to figure out his whole life story and where his mom's from and his past and present. But yeah, it's all these madcap adventures, and it's a very innocent story, I'll say.
Okay.
But I will say this though: with the episodes, it takes about 100 episodes of fillers before it starts getting serious, saying, "Okay, I want to know more about my past," kind of thing. So the first 100 episodes is basically filler.
That's a lot of filler.
I know.
They really took their time there.
I think. Well, then here's the thing though about with fillers, because they tend to talk about how this is how you live your life in this part of town. You get to know everyone, that kind of thing.
So in other words, the fillers aren't just a waste of time. There's lots of other story background and development going on.
Yeah.
Before it really develops into where the DJ could actually grasp it and understand it.
But the problem with Steven Universe, there are a couple of problems with that show though. Like the way they solve problems, for example, they do it through song and dance, which is kind of annoying. Instead of like a conflict, there would be like, I'm going to solve my problem through song and dance.
So it's Bollywood.
Not really Bollywood per se, more like 80s cinema. Like you know how the old 80s cinemas are like?
No, I don't.
Yes, I do. Are you knocking 80s cinema?
No, I'm just saying that it sounds like 80s cinema in terms of you'll get a song and the song will be part of the story, and then they solve the problems through the song. That's it. That's the type of formula you would get.
Well, they used to do that with Captain Planet, but there's another form of it's not cinema, it's theatre called musicals, and we have the Podfather who loves musical theatre.
Yeah, so much so that he made a podcast about the musicals.
Yes, and they told him everything he knows.
That's our segue for the week.
The world is a mess. War, famine, politics.
Why can't everyone just get along?
Yeah, like in musicals. Musicals fix everything.
If people listened and learned from musicals, everything would be better.
Music, lights, and spontaneous choreography. What isn't there to love?
If you want to learn all of life's important lessons,
Or just listen to some musical theatre nerds wax lyrical.
subscribe to Musicals Taught Me Everything I Know, wherever you find fun and funny podcasts.
Or at our website at that'snotcanonproductions.com.
A That's Not Canon Productions podcast.
But with the series so far, it just talks about how there are some interesting concepts with the show as the story progresses. For example, the crystal gems, who are Steven's parents, which are basically amethyst, garnet, and pearl, and they're basically his guardians, basically, and they basically have these special powers called fusions, so they fuse into different elements. You gotta watch the series. When I first heard about it the first time, I went, really, Steven Universe? Yeah, okay. Then I saw a couple of the episodes, and it kind of grew on me. It kind of grows on you.
Okay.
But I will say this: with the last season, there are some interesting events that happen in the final season. I'm not sure whether they'll make a new season or more, but yeah.
Cool. So, with the movie, is there anything special that we need to look out for?
With the movie, from the trailer I saw, it's basically a time skip from, I think it'll be a couple of years after the season finale, after the final season finale, and Steven has a neck. That's all I can say to avoid the spoilers. Steven has a neck in this one.
Okay then.
Because if you look, like I say, if you look at Steven in the entire series, he has no neck. And then you look at the poster, he's like, he's got a neck. He's got a neck.
Well, he probably had it before, you just didn't notice it.
Or maybe he's lost weight and his double chin has faded away, and you've just wrecked his self-confidence.
You heard it first here, folks. The DJ is fat shaming a cartoon character child.
He's a child DJ. How
Oh,
could you do this?
hey.
You bully.
Hey, you guys are bullies too to a certain degree when you bully me.
When? We've never bullied you.
Oh, really? But anyways, jokes aside,
Hang on. Was he drawn by the same people who drew Fallout Boy for Fallout 76?
no, that's I don't think so. The art style doesn't look
It
the
looks very
same.
similar.
But I will also say this for Steven Universe, their songs are pretty amazing to listen to. Like they're kind of chill type music.
So I've gone from I don't like them using songs to I like listening to their songs.
No, what I meant is the trailer songs and the theme song. But you see what?
You're not selling us there, fella.
It's a pretty niche movie. Like I said, you gotta watch the series first before you watch the movie. But there are some good moments in that movie which will kind of melt your heart in a way.
Oh, I think we'll have to include a link with to a collection of Steven Universe songs.
Yes, indeed.
Yep. So anyway, before the DJ puts his foot in it even more, let's move on with our next topic. Now, following on from a couple of weeks ago where I talked about a game developer in Las Vegas, I found an article from a game developer talking about the release process on Steam and discussing how it costs you $1,000 to list your software on Steam, and you get that back if you make $1,000. But Steam still takes their 30% cut of that $1,000, and they talk about alternative storefronts and marketing. It's really quite a long article, but it's worth reading if you're into the sort of environment at all.
So hang on, those games that are available for free on Steam, that cost people $1,000 to put up there for us to play.
$100.
$100.
It's a $100 deposit that gets refunded when you reach $1,000.
Okay.
So technically, of your first $1,000 on Steam, Valve takes $200 of it because you get your $100 deposit back.
But I thought they took 30%.
Yeah, 30% regularly, but they also give you your $100 deposit back.
Okay.
So that cuts it back down to $200, which just to confuse things.
Fair enough.
Yep. And there's 25 games launched on Steam every day. And Mike Rose, who is from the publisher behind the game Descenders, said that in February 2018, 850 games launched on Steam. That's 40 a day. Sorry, I must have the 25 a day number wrong. So in February 2018, there was 40 a day, and he reckons that about 82% of those games wouldn't even make the developer minimum wage in the US. And he then goes on to estimate that if you remove the games that never had a chance of selling at all, the average game on Steam will sell about 2,000 copies and make $12,500 in its first month, up to $30,000 in its first year. With the 30% cut, that's $21,000. Then there's taxes and everything. So it's really sounding, it's kind of depressing.
I was just going to say, thanks for killing the buzz.
Yeah.
Let's go back to talking about Steven Universe with the song and dance.
Oh, I don't know, man. Like Steven Universe has its dark moments as well. I will say that. But in terms of gaming, like
games in Steven Universe, there is a Steven Universe game, and you play music to fight monsters or something. I don't know. I haven't played it myself.
Anyways, I do have a question for you though. Do you reckon is this the reason why people are moving to Epic Games now though?
That and Epic are buying them out because basically, with games like Phoenix Point, Epic came to them and offered them so much money they'd be completely stupid not to take it.
Mm-hmm. Epic's trying to be the Disney. Well, actually, no, the Fox, I should say. They're trying to be Fox Studios in the gaming world.
Yeah, I like this. So it gives alternatives other than the typical Epic, Origin, all of that. Because some of those platforms aren't any better for the indie market than Steam is. The author's preferred platform seems to be Ultra, which takes a 15% fee. And I just have to skim back up a bit. But I think Ultra is based on blockchain,
Okay.
which blockchain's a bit of a buzzword.
Explain blockchain to us.
Basically, you have a block of data and you apply an algorithm to get a hash, which is a unique identifier for that block of data. Then when you have your next block of data ready to go, you put that in the chain and combine the hash of the previous block with the next block, and so on and so forth. And that way, you know that no one has tampered with any of the blocks in the chain.
Awesome.
So I honestly haven't looked into it far enough to know exactly how Ultra uses the blockchain.
Well, we're definitely learning this week. We apologise,
Yeah.
folks. It's not just entertainment. We are actually teaching you something. Shock horror. So, is there hope for indie game developers to be able to get games out to us so that the market can continue to receive great, entertaining software?
I think indie is always going to be a risky proposition, because in the 80s and 90s, indie meant taking your game, getting it published on tapes or floppy disk, later CD, and then shipping that out. That's a huge material cost, especially if you only get a few pressings of your CD done at a time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge bulk discount when it comes to mass production of that sort of stuff. Then in the 2000s, we had this period where the internet took off and indie games realized they could market on the internet and distribute on the internet and save money on distribution. But now the indie market is so big that there's 40 games a day coming out on Steam, and that's just too many for any person to keep up with. And you need to do so much to push past all of the asset flip rubbish.
Mm-hmm. I remember back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of the indie games were just, we had a thing called shareware.
Yeah. The original Doom and
Wolfenstein
were released like that.
Yeah, and it just had a thing. If you really enjoyed this, please send $5 or whatever you want to the developers at such and such. And I have to admit, I actually did send $5 to a couple of them because the games were fun.
Well, they also use that as a marketing strategy. You'd get the first level for free as shareware, and then it would say if you send $20 or whatever to the developer would ship back a copy of the full game.
Yeah, but a lot of the time, those full copies would be shared out and everything as well.
Yeah, DRM was less of a thing back then.
Hacking was a lot less complicated, a lot more straightforward. For some of them, it was just a matter of taking the little sticker off so you could actually copy it.
Oh yeah, the little Write Protect sticker on the floppy.
Sorry, I never said that.
Has Buck admitted to a crime?
There was also, people were using DOS and understanding a lot of the stuff of your file allocation tables and so forth, which does actually enable more hacking, whereas Windows seems to make it a little bit more difficult, and people aren't playing in that area as much anymore.
Yeah, the obvious nature of a huge increase of the number of people using computers is that there's a huge the percentage of people who could do that sort of stuff has gone down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely something interesting to look forward to. Are you going to be releasing any software soon for us?
I'd hope so. I don't know when I'll ever finish it though. The games that I'm working on are making progress, although slowly because we all have day jobs. But I'm hoping to have a bit of a push on that now and see what I can get done.
Well, I don't actually have a day job. I'm a university student. So if anyone does have a day job, out there and they're looking for someone, I'm willing to consider it.
Yes, and unfortunately, a team of game developers making no money don't have need for an HR person. So
I don't know. I could
come hang out with me, Buck.
I could help improve productivity.
And marketability.
Bring a
Put the whip
chair and
away.
a whip and
Put the whip away.
get to work. Get to work.
I can imagine Buck being like a cruel slave master going, onward, slave, psh, onward. Psh.
I was thinking more like Temple of Doom. But
So does that mean you're gonna make Professor the high priest and do the whole Kali Ma thing?
no, because he'd be the slave. He's the developer.
Well, I don't know. He could be. He could be the.
Guys, I don't like where this is going.
That's okay. The DJ's the sacrificial lamb from the high priest.
I can handle that.
See, there you go. That's HR. I solved the problem, made everyone happy.
See what I mean by bullying me?
Where were we bullying you?
Oh, I don't know, Bucky.
We're helping to make you the central attraction of a religious festival.
Oh, that's a good spin you've got there, Buck. Very good spin.
See, nobody's bullying you.
But yeah, I know, because the way gaming industry is going lately, like with all the crunch culture and how game companies are trying to put a spin on loot boxes and how getting
They're not
money
loot
from
boxes, they're surprise mechanisms.
Well, as I was saying, like it's going to be harder for being a games developer with all this type of drama going on.
Well, at the same time, it's probably also one of the better times because there's now multiple stores. You can pick and choose what features you want your game to support and have access to. So if you go with Steam, you have community forums, Steamworks as your multiplayer and anti-cheat and DRM. If you go with Epic, you get a multi-million-dollar payout. If you, I was going to say if you go with De Jure, but De Jure hasn't been around for years now. But if you go with this Ultra thing, they have their own set of features. And at the same time, the key focus of these indie stores like Ultra seem to be on effective marketing, which you can't really do on Steam, according to the article in the show notes.
It's also the technology available now. You're able to achieve a lot more with games and software engineering now and game development than what you used to be able to back in the 80s. Like the amount of code required to create a 3D ball on a screen was phenomenal, especially when you talk like with the shadow play and everything else like that and adding texture to it. So when you think about games such as Madden's NFL and all that sort of stuff, creating a game like those back in the day, you had to have massive numbers of people crunching massive amounts of code just to make the objects and then to have all the interaction and everything like that to get a game out there in the market.
And that's even if you have a god of programming like John Carter.
So then these days you've got software such as Python and so forth that a lot of your object identifiers are already there and it's a lot less complicated.
Yeah, like you can find tutorials, make a shooter game in 8 hours in Unity. It really comes down to a couple of days' work to make something in Unity. And it's not going to be particularly unique. And that's why I think there's a lot of games coming out on Steam that probably shouldn't have come out because they're just derivative. But at the same time, it's great to see people having such an easy route into expressing themselves through games.
It's just the problem of trying to be discovered, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, hang on. No, I see where you're going there, DJ. No, we're not going to have a reality TV show called You Are the Game Developer.
I'm not. No, I'm not going to make it into a Project Runway reject show. No, that's not what I'm thinking. But
That's good. Just making sure. I
I'm
know you like
just-
that reality TV.
Hey, if reality TV has taught us anything, it's that humans love drama. But besides the point, I'm just saying that nowadays it's very hard to get discovered. Like Notch, for example, in Minecraft. I bet you it took a long time before he got discovered.
But that's the thing. Minecraft itself was created for a game called Infiniminer, and Infiniminer never took off as much as Minecraft did.
Mm-hmm. And you got people that are like, who are the guys that made the entire world of Harry Potter in Minecraft?
I don't think I've seen that one.
There was a group of people that got together and they've actually recreated the entire world of Harry Potter in Minecraft.
Wow. I know that people just finished the project to create Middle Earth. I knew a guy close to 10 years ago now who was playing Minecraft to make Moria, but I think I saw recently that a team had finished all of Middle Earth.
It might have been Middle Earth. I know there's some stuff about Harry Potter. Like there's the entire, like all of Hogwarts and the village up nearby and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought I'd seen something recently where someone was saying the entire world of Harry Potter is now available. It kind of blew me away because that means they've actually recreated all of planet Earth as well. But yeah, I can only find the Hogwarts video at the moment.
Okay. Anyway, we should move on. What have you been playing this week, DJ?
I've been playing Warhammer 40k, and yes, before you say again, it's just too fun to play.
I wasn't going to.
I know. I'm just anticipating that moment. But yeah, I do have a question for the Warhammer fans.
Mm-hmm.
So the Chaos Space Marines are different from the actual Space Marines, right?
Yes, the evil anathema.
So what causes them to what actually causes a Space Marine to turn into Chaos Space Marine? Just wondering, is it because of like inner conflict or?
It's the chaos heresy. There's the gods of chaos and so forth.
You've got about 40 years worth of lore to catch up on here.
Yeah, it's literally like there's so much stuff you got to go through.
Okay.
What was that movie with?
I'm assuming you're thinking Event Horizon.
That's it, Event Horizon. That's kind of similar to the process where it's a whispering in the mind. If you play the game, I've actually played it, Space Marine, where you actually play as an ultramarine captain responding to a call for help, and you go running around the place, and you actually deal facing off against chaos. So you either fight against the chaos or it takes you over and you become an apostate of the chaos heresy, and you must be eradicated.
Yeah, people reckon Event Horizon's a bit of a prequel movie to Warhammer.
Yeah.
Like a spiritual prequel. They're not really directly connected.
There are actually Warhammer 40k movies out there that have been made by different people.
Okay. So what about you, Buck?
I have been continuing on with Company Heroes with my re-invasion of Europe. I've completed the storming of Normandy and also Operation Market Garden, and moving through the different levels, and it's been a lot of fun.
So last time you were in Normandy. Where are you this time?
I was up. I've done the first 3 levels. So I've done the playing as the Americans and played Operation Market Garden, which is up Sweden and Holland way, and then I've done the British with their part of D-Day, and I was actually just about to start playing the next part, which I only got through the first mission this afternoon, as a tank commander.
Nice.
So yeah, but that's part of the Tales of Valor. So yeah, I was driving around in a great big tiger tank and just destroying everybody and everything in my way, which is fun when you can drive through a building and it doesn't hurt you.
And I've been playing NetHack, the classic roguelike. It's basically the definitive roguelike in terms of design and content. It's been in development since, I think, 1987, and is based off Hack, which itself is based off Rogue, and so on and so forth, all the way back to the early 90s, late 70s, possibly a bit earlier. It's been a while since I read about the creation of Rogue, which actually gets a mention in Stephen Levy's book Hackers.
I don't think it would have gone too much for earlier than the 70s.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking of Adventure, not Rogue. So I think Rogue was late 70s. I mean, I have access to all of human knowledge. I check.
Rogue is 1980 and Hack is 1982.
Okay.
Yeah, because personal computing was only just taking off late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Because the scene in Star Wars was when he attacks the Death Star had the most amazing up-to-date computer graphics available at the time. And when I say that, I just mean the little targeting computer screen, not the rest of it.
Yeah, so I've been playing in the classic text-based mode.
Okay. Gotta love those old text-based games.
Yeah. I've been getting really into this sort of game recently. I always was, but specifically the terminal-based ones.
Mm-hmm.
And the level of detail and what they can do with it is insane.
Sweet.
And it's just using characters and on a screen, but they manage to simulate so much. Like Dwarf Fortress and Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead are probably two of the deepest simulation games ever.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, on to the shout-outs for this week. On the 29th of July 2005, the dwarf planet Eris was discovered by the team of Mike Brown, Tread Trujillo, and David Rabinowitz. And on the 29th of July 2013, two passenger trains collided in Switzerland, killing one person and injuring 25 others. That's incredible luck to have such a low death toll from a head-on collision.
Is it luck or is it just the Swiss are just so well organised that even their accidents operate according to the plan?
Yeah, you're probably not allowed to get into an accident unless it's on the plan.
It would fit in with everything else we know about the Swiss.
They're pretty good at everything.
Oh, it's just like that. There's a reason why they say things operating perfectly operate like a Swiss watch.
Yeah, they've got a particular level of craftsmanship which is just carried over for hundreds of years now. Now, the next one, on the 31st of July, 1715, a hurricane off the east coast of Florida sank 10 Spanish treasure ships and killed nearly 1,000 people. All the gold and silver on board would not be recovered for 250 years. And if you want to go and hire a diving check, they might have left a few coins.
It'd be worth it.
Yeah, you'd have some pretty cool, souvenirs.
Well, even the plates and so forth from some of those wrecks fetch a nice price. So
yeah, you just got to work out how to dodge the Coast Guard and the wreck salvage laws.
Yes.
And other treasure hunters.
And remembrances this week. On the 29th of July, 1833, William Wilberforce, who has a great name, the British politician and philanthropist who led the movement to abolish the slave trade. He headed the parliamentary campaign against the British slave trade for 20 years until the passage of the Slave Trade Act in 1807. He was convinced of the importance of religion, morality, and education. He championed the Society for the Suppression of Vice, missionary work in India, the creation of a free colony in Sierra Leone, the foundation of the Church Mission Society, and the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. along with basically every other society ever, apparently. He just really liked things that were called society off.
He believed in society.
He resigned from Parliament in 1826 because of his failing health and passed at the age of 73 in London, which was the same year, 1833, as the Slavery Abolition Act.
Mm-hmm.
On the 29th of July, 1890, Vincent van Gogh, or how do you say it in Dutch, Buck?
It's Goff.
Yeah, something more like Goh.
Not go, as some people say.
But that you can't have the joke unless you pronounce it go. I parked right here. Where did my van?
I'm sorry, but I'm just a bit deaf to that one.
And
So
that's
even-
the call for the DJ to go running again.
So even the library didn't like your joke. It's running away.
Anyway, Vincent died after being shot, and there's some debate over whether he was shot by accident by a couple of kids playing with a gun, and he pretended he killed himself because he basically was shot, crawled home, and died a day later. And there's some debate about whether he was killed by these kids either by accident or deliberately, and he didn't tell anyone because he didn't want to ruin their reputation, or whether he shot himself. He's also famous for having the less than the average number of ears and producing 2,100 artworks, in most of them in the last 2 years of his life.
Mm-hmm.
I love his painting of the cafe at night.
Actually, they had an exhibition of his artwork in the Queensland Art Gallery, and I had to say it was an amazing 4.5 hours that I spent just looking at all the different stuff.
Nice. There's actually a VR experience based around the cafe Van Gogh was in,
Mm-hmm.
that he painted. And there's a movie that I haven't seen, but I think it's called Loving Vincent, and every frame is an oil painting.
Yeah, he was an amazingly talented man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and deeply troubled as well, like from all the mental health issues he had. What, didn't you know Van Gogh had his own fair share of
Yeah.
troubles? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
but
meant.
some of those were because he was drinking absinthe, and absinthe back in those days was full of hallucinogenics and other things that are now illegal.
Yeah. Did you guys ever watch that Doctor Who episode with Vincent Van Gogh in it?
Yes, and it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, that was a beautiful episode.
Have you heard of the song Starry, Starry Night?
Yes, I have.
It's actually written about Van Gogh.
Oh.
What a surprise. So, our next remembrance is on the 29th of July 1982. It was Vladimir K. Zworykin, the American inventor, engineer, and pioneer of television technology. He invented a transmitting and receiving system using cathode ray tubes. He died at 94 in Princeton, New Jersey. And our first famous birthday of the week is the 29th of July, 1888. And it is Vladimir K. Zworykin. I said it before. How can I not? He was born in Murom in the Vladimir Governor, and on the 29th of July, 1924, Elizabeth Short, known as the Black Dahlia, was an American woman who was found murdered in Los Angeles, California. Her case was highly publicized due to the graphic nature of the crime. It was suspected that she was an aspiring actress, but she had no known jobs during her time in LA. Yeah, actually, I remember reading that her family found out that she'd been murdered because the newspapers published her name before the police had come to contact them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that was a big thing back then. I think the first case, now I can't remember, but the first case of police that brought it into law was that the radio announced that somebody had died, his wife miscarried, and I think his mother had a heart attack.
And he wasn't dead?
He was dead.
Ah.
But then they decided from now on, don't release the name to the media until someone has made contact.
Yeah.
So next is the 29th of July 1973. Stephen Dorff, the American actor known for portraying Roland West in True Detective Season 3. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and our events of interest. On the 29th of July 1907.
Dib, 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 dob, dob, dob.
Yep. So that didn't come until later, though. Scouts weren't a thing yet.
Okay.
But Sir Robert Baden-Powell set up the Brownsea Island Scout Camp on the south coast of England. The camp ran from the 1st of August to the 9th of August 1907 and is regarded as the foundation of the scouting movement. Yeah, so BP founded Scouts initially, and with the help of his wife and sister, founded Guides and the other section. So they have different names depending on where you are, but in Australia, there's Joeys from the age of 6 to 7, Cubs from 7 to 10, Scouts from 10 to 13, then Venturers from 14 to 18, then Rovers from 18 to 26.
Mm-hmm.
The Cubs are also known as Beavers in the UK and Canada. And then the Americans have their Scouts who are just weird. We don't talk about them.
Let me guess.
What?
Is
Is it the
Let me guess.
Americans that are weird, or is it the American Scout movement, or just both?
It kind of bleeds over.
Okay.
They have 107 badges, including one for bugling and one for nuclear science, which led to an American Scout building a reactor in his backyard.
Did that actually happen?
It actually happened.
I gotta see this.
Not only do you get the badge, but you also get placed on the watch list by the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, and you get given money by strange men in flowing robes and with big bushy beards from the Middle East.
I say you get cancer.
Wow. Yeah, that too.
Yeah, this guy built a reactor, or at least tried to, in his backyard, and basically someone he knew smuggled out radioactive material from an actual reactor, I think, for him to play with. So the neighbors came home one day, and the cops and FBI and radiation containment people were going around in bunny suits, scooping up everything that sets off the Geiger counter.
So he was the first person with glow in the dark chickens. Americans.
Yeah.
Hey, they're a creative bunch. Gotta give them that.
Yeah. So next is the 29th of July 1904. The first book in the Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, was published by George Allen and Unwin.
Woohoo!
Yes, one of the most epic fantasy works. And the next one, on the 20th of July, over 700 million people watched the wedding of Charles, Prince of Wales, and Lady Diana Spencer at St. Paul's Cathedral in London. Does anyone know how that compares to the
Compares to the what?
the more recent royal weddings?
I would say William's wedding was good. Harry's.
No, I mean in terms of viewership.
Oh,
There's probably
Which-
more people watching
the current generation, like Williams and
Harry's, but at the time, like Charles marrying Diana, I remember like that. Like I didn't have to go to school that day. It was on TV, and yeah, everyone had to be quiet. You could watch that, or you could just shut up and sit in the corner.
Everyone loved the Diana.
Well, it was a full fairy princess wedding, like the massive train on her bridal gown that was just so long that you got to wonder how many silkworms died trying to make the silk for it.
How much would it cost now, that dress? Lord knows.
I don't know, but the fact that Diana wore it made it worth a fortune even more.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, everyone loved Diana. I think even in her death, everybody still remembers Diana.
Yeah, and the whole scandal about what's his name, Dodie?
Yeah, Dodie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Yeah, you guys may not. You probably won't remember. Do you remember the Stuart Diver incident?
The Threadbows
Yeah, the
landslide?
Threadbow with the landslide.
Yeah.
Yeah, after that, there were Diana jokes because that had happened not long before it. But after the Stuart Diver incident, they were saying, "Oh yeah, they found another person in the car for Diana." The Stuart Diver was hidden in the glove box. Yes, there was a comedian who did that in England, and he had to leave the country the next day. Apparently,
Jesus.
he was escorted to the airport and told, "You can get on a plane, or you will just disappear on your own."
Wow.
Oh, that must have been really bad.
Well, yeah, like the guys who came and escorted him to the airport weren't police. Nobody knows who they were. They were just scary, scary men.
I like this though. We've got the article here about Stuart Diver, and I
Mhm.
was just skimming it, and the rescue team were digging holes to see if they could find anyone, and called out, "Rescue team working overhead. Can anyone hear me?" And Stuart Diver said, "I can hear you." They asked if he had sustained any injuries. He said, "No, but my feet are bloody cold."
Well, yeah.
First,
Typical Aussie response. I'm sitting in a puddle of frozen water. No, I'm not injured, but I'm freezing.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all we have for tonight. So, where can they find us, DJ?
they can find us on Facebook. They can email us at nerds.amalgamated@gmail.com. They can find us on Twitter at namalgamated. Thank you. They can also find us on Spotify. They can find us on that'snotcanon.com, where we have an archive of our old episodes and merchandise, and iTunes, along with Stitcher.
And wherever good podcasts are available. If we're not there, it mustn't be a place for good podcasts.
And check out some of our friends over at the That's Not Canon site. Tonight we mentioned musicals taught us everything we know. But he's taught the Podfather everything he knows.
We won't tell him you pick musicals, DJ.
Well, that's all from us. So check in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Take care of yourselves and look after each other and stay hydrated. Hooroo.
See you guys.